So you can see, I'll just show this thing like this body. This is a main body. If I go and check to geometry, it has subdivisions, right? I cannot draw anything on this. If I suppose I have this curved strap, that horn thing I'm trying to do. If I try to do it, it will say it have composed
Yes,
of
sir.
multiple subdivision level. So I
Same.
cannot do that, right? It will say that. Then what I did, I just duplicate. You can select that model. There's an option called duplicate. You can
Duplicate.
see, or you can press Control Shift D. Shortcut is Control Shift D, or you can press duplicate. It will duplicate the model. Then this is your duplicate model. Then you can solo it. You can click this solo option. It will isolate everything.
Okay.
Then go to geometry. You can see in geometry there's no subdivision. I have deleted all subdivision. Delete lower, higher, like whatever you want to. You can delete lower, you can delete higher. It's totally up to you. Delete subdivisions, and after that, once you have done that, then if you want to create something, you can do it. Those
Okay.
subdivision you have to duplicate the model, then you have to use delete the subdivision, and on that model you have to like create that,
Okay.
right?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
can you show me how you created the probe, sir?
Yeah, of course, that's I'll show that. That's the whole idea. So there are like few things like yesterday, like when you walk on character now, like thing is like every day you have to spend some time research, sculpt, do things, and keep modifying things. If you check my model from yesterday, in face I have added couple of details, like all this you can see those pimply kind of those bumps I have added, those wrinkles, and I just refined those wrinkles and added, because if I zoom in, if you see, if you can see, I guess you can see my skin have surface detail, skin
Yes, sir.
detail, yeah, right? So
Yes,
all
sir.
those
Pores.
things, yeah, yes, all those things I have added. So I'll explain all those things, how to do that, those things. I'll explain everything. And plus or like you can see even horn, like I just like improve those lines, made them a little bit more like prominent. Then back of the head I added some wrinkles. So like added some lines. So because gradually have to we have to finish it. So you have to like add details and like high polish something, like you paint something like character, or like Photoshop or traditional painting. So gradually first you add all those tones, add all those volumes, and then finally, like when you're happy with the volume, then you start adding all those minute details. So exactly the same thing. So I was pretty happy with the shape and structure. So I went ahead, added all those details. I'll show that. Like I have saved the yesterday's file version of file, and today's like this is something what I did yesterday night. So I updated. Like I have this. Sir, can you please repeat? What is this? Repeat the calf sculpting. Okay, I can show that. Don't worry. Hmm. So I'll show all those things, like how I did the calf and all. So and how added all this. If there's a lot of things going on the head. If I show you, head is not at all simple. Like you can see everything is sculpted, but I have entire control of that. If we go to this layer, you can see there's a layers option. If I switch it off, you can see most of the details are in layers, like all the surface detail, like base volume is sculpted in the model directly, and rest all the fine detail plus few added, like you can see bumps, this bumps and this lines, added in a bump layer, separately. So all these lines I have added separately in a layer so that I can control it. And plus I can, you can see there is some value difference, 0.5, 0.6, 1061, 111. So I can control like same like Photoshop. I'll reference to Photoshop so that you can understand this thing better. So like Photoshop, you have layers and you have opacity and all. This works exactly like that. You can paint some information in any given, like if you see, zoom in, these lines look so hard and so harsh, and this is something not, you can see these are not very refined lines, very random quick lines. So I have added multiple layers to generate that. Each and every layer have some information. So this is like usually like when you create like character, maybe be it a prop, be it a hard surface model, anything. When you create something with surface detail, this is the quality of high poly you are supposed to do. This is industry standard. Anything less
Okay.
than this is not acceptable. Like that just use turbo smooth is not acceptable. That is something works for weapons and all sometimes. That totally works, but make sure whenever you using some damaged part or some weathering is there or wear and tear is there, make sure incorporate all those information, sculpt all those things on your model, like exactly the same thing what you see on your like art station or ZBrush center some other site. That kind of detailing is required. So I'll explain this entire process as well. And uh, this neck cloth piece, you can see it's highly detailed. You can see each and every weaving, and if you zoom in, these are actually mesh geometry. This is not sculpted, because sculpting something like this will be like a nightmare. You cannot do it, will be very difficult. This is something, there are two techniques. One is you can use displacement map in this thing, what do you call it, ZBrush. You can see you have a displacement map option. So okay, that is something I did it with BF171. Okay, like what you can do, you can you can export this base model, take it to any third party software, unwrap it, and then bring it back to this ZBrush back, and then use a seamless stylable seamless stylable displacement map, and create this kind of noise, but that is something dependent on your poly count. Because
Sir, unwrapping a iPod is difficult, right? So with
no
low poly, we can. Yes,
unwrapping
sir.
high poly is difficult. That's why you need to have subdivision levels. You have to
O-
unwrap the lowest subdivision. You have to
Okay.
unwrap the lowest subdivision, and okay, these are like few tips and tricks. I'll get to those things. I'll explain how to like you can update your existing model in ZBrush with your max model very quickly. So there are like few techniques are there, few tricks are there. So like industry people, they use it to like speed up their like efficiency. Thing is like, okay, I'll show this. Okay, I'll start with cloth. uh, I can see I have used this rope, created that. Yesterday asked you guys to download that rope brush from Bat King. I sent that this thing link also. So this is something we can create as well. So I'll show all these things how to create. So suppose today for this working on this will be very difficult. So what I'll do, I'll just take a cylinder. Okay, I just took a cylinder. Make polymesh 3D. Shift F, check. It's a polymesh 3D. So by default, any model doesn't have any unwrap, right? So in ZBrush, like even in ZBrush, even if you have primitive shape or whatever, it doesn't have any unwrap. So you can there like that uh, cloth detailing. How to do that cloth detailing? There are two techniques. One is using displacement map. Oh, sorry. Basically, three techniques. One is using displacement map. One is manually sculpting, which is highly not recommended at all. Manually, don't try, like folds and all. You have to manually sculpt. Surface detail, you have to use some alpha or displacement map or nanomesh. What I have used nanomesh. And nanomesh is a very powerful tool, and with the help of nanomesh, you can create amazing stuff and within no time, very quickly. So suppose this is my some um, surface without any subdivision. So I'll use the same thing, strap, just to show you the exact same thing. What how to use it. Uh, uh, okay, like suppose this is my strap, so I can just like create something like whatever I want. I'll like, create something. So suppose this is my strap. I have created that wrapped around my hand, neck, head, anywhere, or maybe be it a skirt, be it any cloth, any cloth. So first thing what I have to do is click and shift F, check. So this like for like for displacement you need decent amount of poly count, or you can see this particular model doesn't have decent amount of poly count. It just, you can see, elongated this
Yes, sir.
right, there's no in between loops, nothing is there. So first thing first, what I'll do, I'll just split mask point. So now I have two different geometry. But like if I want to, like suppose I want to sculpt something on this, shift F. Suppose I want to sculpt anything like standard or BDS. Let's just try. So you can see really can't do anything because there's no loops in between. Control Y. I'll move it. Huh. Mask point. Huh. Hmm. So first thing what I have to do is I have to subdivide. Control D, 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 Shift F, and then Shift F. Oh, escape. Shift F. Now you can see it have decent amount of polygons. So these are still not square. These are rectangular in shape, and this shape works for your displacement map or your alpha map. It works for them. So, okay, suppose I have created something and I want to like, okay, I'll just quickly do something. Uh, I'll try to create some like folds, like slightly. Some anything I can create. So like this is what I have created, and now I want to create those details, surface detail. So I can see there's not enough polygons. So first thing first, what I can do is like first thing, easiest thing is using alpha. So for this I need alpha. So I'll just fabric fabric texture. So I can just like search for some fabric texture. So I'll try to find something seamless, or like for alpha, seamless also doesn't matter. Something black and white with decent amount of detail. This is like way too small. Tools, any, like seamless, it's seamless or not doesn't matter. Um, like something like with prominent details, like which is prominently visible. Those kind of alpha texture you have to find and convert that to black and white. So let's this looks big enough. So I'll save this desktop and oh, ZBrush reads only and only JPEG and PSD, nothing else. So, and this, so first I have to prepare my this thing, uh, this texture. This I'm going to use this as a displacement like as alpha. So ZBrush alpha. So I have to prepare this texture first, and then I'll bring import it as alpha and drag and use create my alphas. So let's open this into Photoshop. And like pay attention, all these tricks will help you out a lot. And these things are if you search for this thing with keywords, it will be difficult to find this kind of tutorials. But definitely this kind of tutorials are there, but you can definitely do that. But just pay attention. If you have any doubt, go back and recheck the video, or if you after trying come up with questions and queries, I'll explain everything. So first thing, convert this to desaturate the entire thing, make it black and white, make it black and white. Then pick 50% gray, which is like 128, 128, 128, 120. Like it's 51. It should be 50. Like 128, 120, 128. It's a exact 50% gray value. Use some gray value because I don't want this hard line. There like there's a technique in ZBrush itself. It blurs out your edges. So either you can just simply create your brush directly like this, blur out your edges, so you don't have any issue in ZBrush. Like sometime what happens, like when you create blur out the edges in ZBrush, it might give you a bump or maybe a depth. Sometime it happens. So this is what I prefer. I create a alpha, blur out the edges with gray, because gray value is 50. If it's a 50% gray, it basically become neutral, so it doesn't affect your surface. Save it again. Now go back to ZBrush. This is your surface, so I'll use standard brush, drag rectangular. Drag rectangular is basically you can use a texture and drag and add into that surface. Then import, or you can use any of this alpha as well. And this is, you can say I have used one skin alpha. Okay, so you can see if I drag it, it doesn't. I'm not able to see it, and it's really noisy because there's not enough polygons. So what I have to do is control D again, control D again, control D once again, around 1 million. Now if I drag, I can see this, but this is too strong. So whenever you sculpting any surface detail, especially surface detail, make sure do not do it directly on your model. Try to do it with layers. Layers acts as exactly the same as in Photoshop. It gives you better control over your layer, like that particular whatever you sculpted on that layer. It gives you better result and better control. You can reduce it, you can increase it, you can modify it, you can do everything. So how to use layer? Make sure you're whenever you done that your subdivision level is the high in highest point, like full for subdivision, subdivided, fully subdivided. Then go and click add new layer, add. So whenever you create something, by default it says untitled layer. You can rename. There's an option, you can see name, you can rename it. And then there's, it says record, recording. It basically records your action, whatever you do on that layer. Like now suppose I'll go and reduce the intensity slightly and create. this. Create this. You see, I can create this thing very easily. But you need to keep this thing in mind. This is just for one strap, 1 million, more than 1 million tries is you are using right now. So which is highly not recommended. So never, because if you use for a one strap 1 million, for entire character it will be 100 million. Your system will crash. You won't be able to bake anything. You won't be able to deliver anything. So you can create something like or add all details. Then once you're happy with the detail, click on that record button. It will change to I. Now it's recorded. So you can just simply switch off, switch on. And if you want to lighten the layer, same like Photoshop, you can go to minus, you can go to plus. So it basically gives you better control. So this is how it works. And once you create layer, you can create multiple layers and create it. Yes, tell me.
Yes, sir. But after that, we can convert this, reduce the subdivision levels in the model, right, sir?
No, you can
Then,
reduce you can reduce subdivision, but it will reduce the detail as well. Like suppose I'll just make keep it one only. I'll keep it one. So this is not part of your model yet. It's a separate layer and just in viewport. You can see it in the viewport only. It's not you.
oh,
It's not part of your model yet. So for that, what you have to do, you can see there's the option bake all. You have to
okay,
click this button, so it will become part of your model. Click it. It's now it's part of your model. You can see layers are gone, and you don't have any control. Now it's a single solid layer. And go to geometry. Now you can reduce subdivisions. But if you reduce subdivision, you can see you're losing details.
yes, sir.
So that's what happens with because this is 1 million and you are using alpha. So this is what happens. So that is like a big problem. So this is specifically for surface where you have those weaving or some other like detailing like armors and all. You have those metal ring kind of thing, those armors or chain or all those things. This basically works for those things. Like for those things, this nano mesh works perfectly. So you can see this is like not recommended. So what I'll do is for this, I'll go to lower subdivision, Control Shift D, duplicate that layer, W, and move it. So I have a separate layer, separate mesh, and Control Shift D, one more. So I'll show you all three techniques how to do it. So this one, all high. You can see all high. I just duplicate this one. Is that's why everything have high this thing. I'll just select one geometry, go to lower subdivision, delete, Alt Q, Alt click on the layer, lower subdivision, delete higher. I don't want this. Then subdivide, Control D. Same, I have divided exactly the same times, 1.236 million. For this time I can use displacement. For using displacement, there are like techniques. For that, there are two ways using displacement. Either you can use displacement map directly. So, but this displacement map is directly related to your UVs. If you have decent UVs, it will work as your this thing. So for this, I'll just download one seamless. Just give me 1 second. I just download one seamless texture. I have a seamless, yeah. Yeah, I found a seamless texture. Just save it. It's JPEG desktop. I saved it. So for displacement, so first thing first, I'll just go. And for using displacement, you have to switch on your textures. New texture, make it white. Doesn't make any difference. Go to displacement, click on this, import. Now I just downloaded this texture, this one. Open. So you can see nothing is visible yet because intensity is 0, 0.1, or what is this? So you can see nothing is visible. Reason, you can see it's working. It's giving you a strange results. Reason being, displacement map works like a texture. So in your texture scale is should be appropriate, plus your this thing resolution should be appropriate, like the amount of detailing you are looking for, and there is no UV as well. So you cannot go create this. So how to do this thing? So shift D, go to lower subdivision, geometry, lowest subdivision. This is a model. Export the model. Export it. Export. You can see I went to lower subdivision, then exported it. So I'll go to, so I'll just unwrap it. I'll use Maya quickly. What I can do it in like Zbrush directly instead of like going to Maya Max and thing. So this is just for showing you. For this purpose, usually we'll go to Max or Maya, and this kind of structure we unwrap it and make it 100% straight and flat. So what I'll do, I'll just use a ZBrush, this thing, unwrap. So unwrap. So it's unwrapped. You can see the moment I have unwrapped it, it started showing me displacement. Because there was no displacement, that's why it wasn't showing. So there's no UV because displacement. This is a displacement is a texture map, and if there is no UV, there's no textures, right? So I just like quickly displace that, and intensity can reduce. You can see, but it's not that clean. It applies everywhere, but it's not that clean. Reason being the resolution of the texture. I need to increase the resolution of the texture to 4K or 8K or maybe 16K to get similar kind of result. I need to use a really huge like texture file. Like suppose if I go to PSD, Photoshop, Control D, Shift, correct, Windows D. Where is my texture? Is this the one? Yes. Yeah, this one only. So I'll just check the size. It's okay. It's quite big. Like it's still you can see the, but it's quite big. But you can see it's like the texture is like that noisy and thing stuff. So what I'll do is Control J, crop. I'll just increase the size.
So we can even download it from a pixel, right?
Yeah, you can download some bigger like texture size that works. Like, but the density and everything you have to maintain in texture.
Okay.
Like, because the texture density depends upon your this thing. So make sure. So okay, done. Save it. It's a huge. You can see that now it's a huge texture. So for this, I'll go to displacement. Once you imported any texture, it gets saved in your ZBrush. So you have to manually re-import it once again. Re-import. You can see instantly the texture density improves, but still it's not that refined. But basically, for getting this kind of result, you have to really increase the texture size. So either you increase the poly count in your model or increase the texture size. Then only you can create that displacement. right? There are like two techniques. Now, but this is again 1 point something million, 1 point something million, which is not at, and you can see in displacement right now it's 302 tries polygons, but still you can see all the details. If you go move up all the way, you can see all this thing details, but still this is not the part of your model yet. Reason being, you have to apply this displacement map. So, and right, you have to click this. Once you clicked it, now it become part of this model. So make sure whenever you're using layers or displacement or something else, there's an option for like apply those detailing on on this surface. So one thing is this. So I'll just undo this. I don't want displacement. So using displacement is another way. Surface. Go to surface noise maker. Click on this. Zoom in. Move. You can see it's a noise maker basically. Like usually most of the surface have some amount of noise or noisy effect. To add those detail, you can use this noise. We use this thing for noise. But there is an option you can see. There's a UV. This is 3D view noise plugin UV. So I can use UV alpha. I can click and select my alpha. So based on my alpha, you can see alpha scale. I can increase noise scale. I can make it like 0 or maybe increase slightly. Strength, I can go plus or minus. So with this you can just simply magnify. You see, you have better control because here you can control the scale of the alpha. You can like resize the UV, like kind of resize the texture by yourself. So with this, if you have a decent UV, then you can use noise maker and generate this very easily. So there are like displacement. For using displacement, there's three techniques. One is this. One displacement for using displacement. There are two techniques. One is this. One is directional displacement, right? Then you can
So,
keep. Hmm?
but you said while you're doing an environment, we'll be using displacement only for environment, not in models, right? So like a character or props.
No, like high poly is altogether. We are creating high poly.
Yes,
For
sure.
high poly, we'll create all details with displacement and everything. Then we'll bake everything from this model to low poly. For
Okay.
character, there's no displacement. Only displacement will be used for only for rendering, not for your game model or anything.
Yes.
This is something we will create, and then will bake this information in a low poly UV and texture it. It's only and only meant for that, right? Like
Okay.
any
Yes.
okay. So now create this. Okay, so it's done here, and this is again not part of your model until unless you apply. You click apply to mesh. Apply to mesh. Done. It's part of your model. But you can see it's not that prominent because you need to increase the strength and all those things you have to do. So there's one more technique, and another technique is there. For that, we'll be using nanomesh. But for using nanomesh, it is recommended to have square polygons. Shift F, you can see these are not square. There's not even enough polygons. So what I'll do, I'll keep this model. Right now I'm using the same technique what I have used in my model. That technique I'm going to show you. So for that I need to create or like make sure all the loops are equal, almost equal, not exactly the equal, almost equal. And for this I'll just use Z remesher. adapt, all these things I'll switch off. Five is 5,000 basically. So I'll just click this. So now you can see everything is almost square, right? Perfectly square, same shape. So I just re-remeshed it, and now it's around 5,070 polygons. So it's way better than 1 million polygons, right? So for using nano mesh, this much polygons is more than enough. So now, for nano mesh, that nano model I have to create in my in any third-party software or in Zbrush. I have to create that model. Nano mesh is basically 3D model. So for that, what I'll do is, let me like open. So for that, so I'll just simply create something. Mm, It's like I'll show you. Do I have the model already? So I'll just show you what I did basically. One second. I can use three, three, four. So one thing you have to keep in mind, whenever you creating any nano mesh, make sure keep the poly count as low as possible. So okay, I'll just switch off symmetry. I'm just creating that one weaving effect. Delete, delete. I don't need anything else. Then something like this. Oh, sorry. This is like way too thick. I can squeeze it. Ah, this is better, right? Then, what is wrong with this? 90. 180. I'm just creating that like overlapping effect. Or I can just simply delete this. I'll create this one first. Combine these two and align these lines together. D 90. So this you can see it looks like a weaving, like right. One is going down, one is going up, like that, or every alternative this thing. So this is how your naturally your weaves are look like. So you can create multiple patterns. It's totally up to you. You can, if you want, you can create any design, any pattern. Like you can create this. You can create those like suppose I create two effects, two different effects. Uh, 10, delete. I'm just trying to create that effect. One loop, one loop. It goes down now. Then shift. So that like you sweater and all, you have those kind of weaving effect, right? So something like that. I'm just creating. It don't need to have like you just create it very easily. Well, it don't have to be like 100% perfect. It should look like that the way you want. It should be looking like something like this. So I'm just deleting in between polygons to save some amount of polygons. Make sure it's really low poly, because these are geometries, so you're going to use this like chain link and all. So exactly same thing. So now you have two different set of things. Now you have this, combine everything together, delete. So I'll export this, uh, export selection, desktop. This is like, and make sure save it as obj. This is my first one. Okay, now I'll go to ZBrush. Now I have ZBrush. So now I want to use that geometry as my nano mesh. Like I want that as create that thing and put it in my model and create that entire pattern in geometry instead of like using texture and all those things. I don't want that. So for that, for doing for doing that, I have to open that exported obj now. So I'll just go and click any of the like primitive shape, and then I'll just simply import text of one, import that. So angle is very important. Like if you create it like this, if you like your camera is like this, it will create that nanomesh like this only from this angle. But I want it to be like this, so it flattens on the surface and place it nicely. And this is like one polygon. This entire surface will be fit into one polygon only. So I'll go to this shape, this like front view, then go to brush, create, create insert mesh. If you create directly nano mesh, it won't work because you have to create an insert mesh first, then you have to convert that into nano mesh. Insert mesh, it will ask what you want to do, create a new brush or append a brush. I want to create new brush. Create it, you can see instantly it become a brush. But still a brush it's a only brush. It will just we have all those brushes where you can drag and add geometry. It will be work exactly like that, but I want to use it as a nano mesh. Just selected, that brush is selected, go and click on create nano mesh. The moment you click this, you can see this it changed to Z modeler, and you still have that model selected. Now go back to your that surface, zoom in, and hover. And you know how Z modeler works on edges, on vertices, and polygon faces. So for this, I'll go to face, press space bar. I want to apply this thing to entire polygons. Right? I'll select all polygons. That's it. Click, then click and drag. It snaps on that surface and generate that geometry. But you can see this geometry is not, it looks like some pattern on the surface. It doesn't look nice. So what I'll do, I'll go to this, the fourth option is nano mesh, where you can switch off your base surface and keep that. And as you can see, you have so many options. You can fit it into the polygon, you can fill, you can use the size, this is scale. Then rotation, I don't want any rotation, make it 0. Scale, if you want, you can increase the scale. Alignment, you can use normal, like a normal direction of your model. You can create it like this. You can, if you want, you can randomize things, like for populating stuff and all. You can do those things also. So this mesh is, I've just randomly created. This is something like this is not perfectly, and when you create it, make sure it tiles perfectly. So when I created this, it doesn't tiles perfectly. That's why you can see all those lines are not perfect. And one more thing, go to brush. There's, you have modifiers. Where is my not there's an option. So like you can just like create it like this. So I already have created this particular brush. So what I can do, I can just go F, import. Let's see where it is. Somewhere. Not this one. Just give me a second. Just, there it is. Text of, yeah. So you can see exactly same thing, but this aligns perfectly. Like right, what I have created that doesn't tile perfectly, but this one tiles perfectly. So what I'll do, go to brush, create, insert mesh, new brush, nano mesh. Same thing, go back to that surface, switch off nano mesh, all polygons, create that surface, and you can just go ahead and align. You have this width option. You can increase, decrease, move left, right, rotation 0, align to normal. You can create it like this. Or the other one we have created, similarly you can export it and create it like this. But suppose you feel this particular nano mesh this model doesn't have enough polygons. So you can just subdivide, Control D, Shift F. Still, it's 20,000 polygons, way better than. Or subdivision, it doesn't work on subdivision. Same thing again. Delete lower division, create nanomesh, one, maybe slightly down, align with normal, rotation 0. I don't want any rotation. Now you zoom out, you can see it creates this nice dense detailing. And when you bake it from high poly to low poly, it will transfer all the information to your low poly. It will bake it nice normal because everything in geometry, so it bakes really nicely. So once you're done with this, you can just select freeze placement and all. You can do freeze placement, and then after that, you can see uh, you can want to mesh. You can click this. What will happen? It will convert this into make this thing in part of your model. You can see it's part of this model now. And if from distance you can see it looks perfectly nice, like weaving going from inside and outside. It looks perfect. So you can use the same technique and create all the brushes. And if you want to use some different pattern, different stuff, you can do it very easily. Suppose that I'll just try this one this time. Suppose I want to use this one. So first we export selection. Number two, OPK. I'll go to any of this. Import number two. So you can see whenever I'm importing something, it basically replacing that particular model. Then brush, create insert brush, new brush, nanomesh. Go to your model once again. So now suppose I want to use this on this surface. For that, I have to reduce the poly count. It's not remeshed. So what will happen when I create it? It will be somewhere it will be thin, somewhere it will be thick. Nanomesh, increase the scale. So this one you can say this one tiles perfectly. So there there's density difference on the polygons. That's why it like somewhere it's dense, somewhere it's light, and you can create it like this. And suppose you want to change the direction, you can have all this rotation, offset, orientation, everything is there. You can change all these things. Like suppose you don't want in this direction. Where is my rotation? You can see you have rotations. So you can rotate it like this, so well, any direction. So like this, you can like usually you can see those collars like of t-shirt or sweater, all those things. They use this kind of nanomesh and generate that those details. And it is like you can see it's 19,330. So want to mesh, add this, and this will bake really nicely on your model.
Sir, after doing that option, it's going to 2 million, right?
Yes, yes. This will increase. Like these are geometry. You can see these are physical geometry, but you can see detailing level. This is again 1.6 million. This is again 1.6 million. But this detail and this detail, quality. You can see the difference in quality. So that is
Yes.
that's what matters. Like we're using exact same kind of polygons and all, polygons and all, and but it's giving you better result as compared to your this alpha and displacement. So I'll just go and use my character. So
So I
for
have a doubt.
yes, tell me.
So the same technique we used, right, for the creating the art tiles, right, sir, in environment one.
Hmm.
That time we got that some shader issue, right? So
Some shader issue. I don't remember. Can you explain that?
yes, so like some parts of the art was like black, and then what you did is you just took a small part of that baked thing, and you took it to Photoshop, and you just cropped that, and you did something like that. So you created a own normal map, and once again you like imported it
Ha!
in a Substance Painter, and you solved
Yes,
that.
yeah. Oh, I remember. I remember. Yes. Yes, like
If
those are like you have to combine like you combine two surfaces. One with like for that I guess we have you for a basic building we have used the substance normal, and for the tiles we have used the baked normal.
yes, sir, the baked normal, yes, sir.
So we have used two different normals. So what we did in that, we have created one flat plane, one flat surface where we baked it and then copied that part and pasted everywhere.
Yes, sir.
So that we can use the same thing. Oh, where to restart my ZBrush? It's too much of one thing for things. So we just copy pasted the same information, but for clothes, like for clothes and
Yes,
all, what will happen? The lines and all those things won't be straight. It
yes,
will
sir.
be folded. It will have organic like lines here and there, and multiple shapes will be there here and there. So to
Yes.
create that, if you bake it directly, it will give you better result.
Okay.
It's basically for that only to get a better result out of it. So I'll
Okay.
just show that in that this character quickly. The time is already consumed. Uh, Organic. Okay. So suppose I want to create that detail for this. So Shift F. If you check, it's rectangular in shape. So what I'll do is basically go to sorry my geometry, Z remesher, and I'll just simply remesh it. Everything is square. So like for using nanomesh, try to keep everything square. So I'll use this. Then now I'll create import. Where is my desktop?
Sir, you click export.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Oh shit, I exported it. Oh, very bad. Import. I replaced it. Very bad. Import. I'll use it in number two. Control N. So I have this one. So I'll just in any direction, I'll just create this brush. Polymesh 3D. Create. Insert mesh. New. Nanomesh. I'll go back to my model, isolate that so it's not that heavy on my GPU, all polygons, click and drag, nanomesh, rotation 0, alignment, normals, scale, I'll increase. I can see with a normal alignment it doesn't work perfectly. So what I'll do, I'll just simply rotate it slightly. Yeah, this gives me better result. Now I can just increase this thing slightly, make it even more, little bit dense, so that from distance, when I see it, if I want, I can remove that placeholder. So it becomes like some weaving. So I'm going to use the older this thing, like not this nanomesh I'm going to use. I'm going to use this one only. So if I zoom in, uh, Shift F. If you zoom in, you can see that same nano mesh. It just this mesh is a little bit dense. So, and you can see this like this polygon showing around 76,000. And if I go and use this, it is showing around 9,000 something. So I can keep it like this, like 9,000 only. I won't bake it to the mesh. I won't use the inventory and want to mesh. I won't convert this into model until like till the time I finish my entire model. So it will keep my model optimized. And once I am totally finished, I'm about to bake my normals. Only and only that time I'll convert this into mesh and bake all normal. So by that, what will happen? My entire model, it will always be 9,000. This is just a GPU.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, Shiv Krishna exited. Sir, he is asking to join. Sir.
Shiv Krishna asking to join. Where is it? Oh, yeah, admitted. Again, okay, sir. Can you please mail me the Google Drive link where you have uploaded the video? Okay, I'll upload that. So try this thing out. If even if you're not able to do it on your this thing, character like cloths and all, try on some surface. At least practice this. This will help you out because for moving forward, we're going to create all this cloth and other stuff. We'll be using this for all this surface, like same technique. I'll be using this one only for this strap, this strap, because make sure all the straps kind of similar. Then they will I'll create this brush also. I'll show you how to create this kind of brush and how to use it. Like if you want to create your own strap or own some it's a rope or some other structure, you can create and want to use it as a curve, you can do that as well. So those things I'll show you. So by this you can see instantly it looks like quite high detail. Everything is there in your model, like all information. It's quite you can see quite dense. From distance, if you see, it looks nice. Like everything in geometry. So detail level is really nice and high. I'll change this to. No, it looks nice. So use something. So use something like this, add this thing and create everything in geometry, because a high poly is something like high poly should be like in such quality you should be able to showcase it. Okay, so just take the attendance quickly. And okay, I'll share the link for the videos. I'll just stop recording now.